Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com, here to do your weekly angel card reading for November 27th through December 3rd, 2017. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving here in the United States last week, and we're moving into a new month soon, so be sure to also be on the lookout for the monthly angel card reading for the month of December, which should be up on my YouTube channel under Colleen Lemma shortly. So for this week of November 27th through December 3rd, we're going to be using for the main message the Archangel Power Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Archangel Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. So let's start by taking a look at your stones of choice for that special message card. The first stone of choice is called sardonyx. And sardonyx is a stone that helps you to dig deep into the self to find solutions to present and past challenges. This also helps to provide the impetus to change, and it brings a sense of stamina to your goals. The second stone of choice is chrysocolla. And chrysocolla is this beautiful turquoise blue and green stone. It often gets mistaken for turquoise, but the chrysocolla vibrates to the planet of Venus, the planet of relationships as well as finances, and it connects to the idea of wisdom and love. It helps to drive off fears and illusions. And it's a stone of peace that helps you to soothe the emotions. And then your last stone of choice. This is called pinolith. And pinolith is a stone that helps to dispel negative energies out of yourself, out of your environment. It helps to bring this soothing, positive energy that gets put in its place. It also helps to release and dispel any lower vibrational energies that may be residing in the inner soul, and helps to motivate you to lead your life in a more serene way. Okay, so again, your stones of choice are the sardonyx, the chrysocolla, or the pinolith. So let's talk a little bit about the astrology for the week. We start out on Tuesday the 28th, and you're going to feel this even on Monday the 27th, as Mercury, the planet of the mind, the planet that rules our ideas, our communications, it comes to connect with Saturn, the planet of lessons, the planet that provides a sense of structure, but also sometimes can bring in a sense of limitation or restriction. Now, Mercury is starting to really slow down. In fact, it's been in its shadow, moving into its new Mercury Retrograde period for quite some time. But this week, towards the end of the week, is when it actually does go retrograde. So here on Monday and Tuesday, especially Tuesday, as it's connecting with Saturn, this is going to really kind of bring a heightening of the effects, because Mercury, like I said, is starting to slow down. And we're already experiencing some miscommunications. We're experiencing maybe things with electronics, computers, phones, etc., maybe not going quite right. Here we're going to feel restricted in our ability to communicate and express. Okay, Mercury connecting with Saturn, and Saturn being about limitation and restriction, is going to kind of almost provide a little bit of this heavy feeling to our ability to talk openly and honestly perhaps with other people, or it might also bring about a little bit of a change of mood, kind of depressing, if you will, one's sense of mood of the mind, so to speak. It's not, Mercury isn't an emotional planet. It's more, again, mentally active. But still, with Mercury and Saturn together, we can almost feel a little heaviness or depression of the mind, so to speak. Now, on the positive end, Mercury and Saturn can help to bring structured communication, very what do I want to say? I don't know if I want to say detail oriented, that's not quite right, but it's going to help to provide a focus for the communication, a focus for our ideas, because Saturn does provide that energy of focus and structure, and the ability to manifest. So here we could, again, in a positive sense, also allow some of our ideas to start coming into manifestation. But I also wrote down what the moon was doing on this day, Tuesday the 28th, because it seems to be doing a lot, and I feel like this is going to be part of the energies of that Mercury connecting with Saturn. The moon is in Pisces, which is a very sensitive and emotional, creative kind of energy. But throughout the day, the moon will connect positively to Venus in Scorpio, which is actually going to be a very nice energy, you know, creative energy, energy of getting into the divine feminine. It's going to heighten our senses and intuitions and our empathic ability and psychic abilities. But then the moon is going to move on and it's going to connect with Chiron. And we know Chiron is the wounded healer, which is actually slowing down itself. You know, just as Mercury is slowing down to turn retrograde, Chiron is slowing down and it's stationed, getting ready to turn direct, which officially starts next week. I believe it's December 3rd. But because Chiron is already at its station point this week, it's really heightening the energies of Chiron, of the wound or the wounds that we carry with us from this and previous lifetimes, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So we might feel overly emotional when the moon connects with Chiron on Monday, Tuesday. It's also then going to move on, the moon, to challenge Saturn, because Chiron and Saturn, as we recently remember, have just come into its last square. But because Chiron is a slow moving planet and Saturn is pretty slow moving itself, these planets are still within orb of one another. So the moon is going to connect with Chiron and then challenge Saturn. Then it's going to move on to challenge Mercury, which is also slowing down. So the only positive connection that the moon really makes is that nice positive connection to Venus and Scorpio. And again, Venus is the divine feminine energy. It does rule women. Scorpio is about secrets and power. It's sort of like empowerment versus disempowerment. So this can bring up issues of power in this day, along with, again, speaking our truth, with Mercury connecting with Saturn, to where we feel stifled in speaking our truth, or maybe we're trying to have a communication and it's not really coming out the way we intended, or there's miscommunication because Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde. We're feeling overly emotional because the moon is connecting with Chiron and then Saturn and then Mercury, all in kind of a little bit of a challenging way. Now, remember, you know, there's no negatives here. This does sound challenging, but all of the energies that we experience each and every day, there's a purpose to them. There's a purpose as far as our evolution and growth. There's a purpose as far as healing. There's a purpose as far as us learning, you know, the lessons that we came down here as souls to learn. And some of our lessons might be about speaking our truth. Or being more clear. Some of our lessons might be to empower ourselves. Some of our lessons might be to purge and release and transmute old energies on a physical, emotional, or mental level. So this is all providing us an opportunity to do just that. As we move to Friday, the 1st of December, Venus, which was just in Scorpio a couple of days ago, is now moving into the sign of Sagittarius. She's going to be in the sign of Sagittarius from December 1st until the December 24th. So just a little over 3 weeks here. Now, Venus, again, ruling women, the divine feminine. Venus rules love, relationships, money, and finances. She's moving into Sagittarius, which is a more optimistic and uplifting sign than Scorpio was. So she's going to feel more independent. She's going to feel more freedom-oriented. So this is going to, as far as relationships and partnerships, mean that there is a sense of needing more space in the relationship, or again, using that word freedom, needing more freedom in the relationship, but also, again, it brings in this sense of optimism and joy. Sagittarius rules travel and adventure, so this could be about relationships, you know, going and traveling together or having some sort of adventure together. As far as money and finances, Venus going into Sagittarius, again, much more optimistic, much more looking at the big picture of, you know, what can possibly be. Sagittarius is great at looking at the big picture rather than the small details. And so visualize the big picture. You want abundance and prosperity and financial wealth, visualize that. See that big picture. Be optimistic about it. And during the next 24 days here, while Venus travels through that sign, I think we're going to see some of these energies, both in relationships and finances, come into play. Also, by the way, they're telling me to say, you know, we are approaching the Christmas season, the holiday season, depending on what it is that you celebrate, Hanukkah or Christmas. Now, Venus and Sagittarius, from the money perspective, can also be like extravagant, okay? Extravagant or overspending or impulse buying. So you might want to watch that, especially as we're nearing Mercury retrograde again. Watch the impulse buying, really make sure that this is something that you want to purchase. And again, it could lead to over extravagance. Also on Friday the 1st, Mars, the planet that rules energy and action, which is in the sign of Libra, the partnership sign, which is all about balance and peacemaking. It's interesting because Mars is the god of war in mythology, and it's in the peacemaking sign of Libra, so it's kind of an interesting kind of balance there between the two energies. But Mars is opposing Uranus also on Friday the 1st, the same day that Venus goes into Sagittarius. Now, Uranus can bring sudden and unexpected redirections or occurrences or circumstances. Uranus is about freedom. It's about higher vibrational energies, streaming forth both into our consciousness and onto the planet. And with Mars opposing Uranus, again, there could be some unexpected redirections with our path or with relationships or with circumstances in our life. Some surprises or some sudden and unexpected happening. This is neither good nor negative or bad. I don't like to use the word bad. I really don't even like to use the word negative so much. To me, it's good or not so good, you know, or good or, you know, whatever, less than optimistic and positive. Because nothing is really bad per se. But with Uranus, you never know what you're going to get. So just watch the beginning of the month there with these two things happening on the 1st. It should be something that perhaps is significant in some way. On Saturday the 2nd, Jupiter is in a positive connection to Neptune. Now, Jupiter is in the sign of Scorpio. It entered Scorpio in October, and it's going to stay in Scorpio until next November 2018. It's expanding all these energies about secrets and power and people misusing their power and things that are hidden. And, you know, Jupiter is about our belief systems too. So it's all about our belief systems regarding these things. In a positive aspect to Neptune and Pisces, I feel like it's expanding our psychic senses. It's expanding our spiritual belief systems. We're looking at things maybe from a more expanded perception or a different viewpoint. It can also, though, Jupiter can also expand not only the Scorpio sign that it's in, but now expand the Neptune energy as well. And Neptune sometimes can bring about illusion and confusion, even though on the higher end, Neptune is about spirituality. So there could be some sort of confusing things that are happening, not just necessarily on the day of Saturday the 2nd, but around, you know, the few days before, maybe the few days after. Watch the news or watch what's going on in your own personal life for things feeling like they're expanding into maybe a little bit more of a confusion state. And remember, the key is to look at things from a different perspective. Go within and connect with your inner wisdom and your higher soul self to feel what is right. And I say that because Jupiter being in the sign of Scorpio, Scorpio is a water sign. Neptune being in Pisces, Pisces is a water sign. Very empathic and psychically sensitive signs that these two planets are in. So go within to feel what feels right. On Sunday the 3rd, this is when Mercury is going retrograde officially. It goes retrograde at the very last degree of Sagittarius, 29 degrees. Now Mercury is going to be retrograde from December 3rd through December 22nd, right before Christmas. So we often say with Mercury retrograde, don't make any big purchases. But again, we're in the Christmas season here, or the holiday season. So there's a lot of gift buying going on. So just be aware of what you're purchasing. Know that, there might be returns involved, or there might be, a change of mind, involved. In other words, you might purchase something and then maybe find it somewhere else at a better deal and you want to take it back. Or maybe you buy it and then you find out there's something missing or something that's not quite right. Or you just change your mind and you want to take it back. So just, watch for some of those Mercury retrograde happenings. Again, Mercury retrograde can also bring miscommunication and misjudgment because it's in the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius rules our belief systems and our judgments. Now, whether they be, again, positive judgments or not so positive judgments. So we want to also watch that we're not judging ourselves overly so, or not judging circumstances or people overly so, because, again, we may not be seeing the big picture. And this segues into the fact that we have a full moon also on Sunday, December 3rd at 11 degrees Gemini. Now, Gemini is a mutable sign. It's changeable. It's not grounded. And it's a sign that rules the mental realm. So our thoughts are going to be all over the place. Our communications are going to be all over the place. It's going to be busy. So you might have more communications, more meetings, more people trying to contact you if you're in business. There's going to be a lot of mental activity going on. But this full moon is in a challenging aspect to Neptune. Because here we have the moon at 11 degrees Gemini, and when we have a full moon, that means the sun is in the opposite sign, in this case at 11 degrees Sagittarius, and Neptune right now is stationed at 11 degrees Pisces. Remember last week in last week's reading, we had Neptune turning back to direct motion at 11 degrees Pisces. It's a very slow-moving planet, so it's going to be at 11 degrees Pisces for a while. And it's still at that stationary point, not really moving. So it's going to heighten the effects of this full moon, meaning it's going to heighten the effects of this mutable energy, because Gemini is mutable, Sagittarius is mutable, Pisces is mutable, which means, again, it's changeable. It's not grounded. It's not focused. It's all over the place, which could add to some of the confusion. So, with Mercury going retrograde and the full moon in a challenging aspect to Neptune, there's a lot of unknowingness here. There's a lot of maybe some confusion. And some of the confusion could just be that there's a lot going on, a lot coming at us from all different directions. We're having to juggle our schedules. We're having to juggle our work. We're having to juggle going holiday shopping, going to parties, connecting with friends and loved ones. That kind of busyness is kind of happening and going on. But again, it can lead to a little bit more confusion and ungroundedness. So let's go ahead and get to the messages from our angels and guides. Let's turn over the first card here, and we have, the Page of Michael. The Page of Michael is the page of air, or the Page of Swords in the regular tarot deck, and it says truthful, perceptive, analytical, blunt, okay? And that's kind of another key word for Sagittarius, especially Mercury being in Sagittarius, going retrograde in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is very opinionated, very blunt. They don't beat around the bush. So with Mercury being in this sign, people are going to be more straight and to the point. It says an exciting new challenge. You have what it takes to succeed. Review contracts or documents very thoroughly. Well, that very much goes with the fact that we're having Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is time to review things very carefully. They usually say if you can avoid signing a contract of any kind during Mercury retrograde, do so. But sometimes we can't always do that. So if you can't hold off from signing something, make sure you read it through very carefully, because there might be something in the fine print, maybe something is miscommunicated in the contract, maybe something's not there that you need to be there. So again, just watch what's going on with the mental realm. Okay, again, the Page of Swords here, the Page of Michael, can pose some challenging communication, some challenging thoughts. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but you can see that the imagery here, we have a lot of kind of dark clouds. However, the sun is trying to peek through those clouds, if you see. So look for the bright areas within some of the challenging experiences. Look for where there's light. Look for where there's positivity. Keep your thoughts in a positive place, in other words, because again, you know, we're moving through that idea of your thoughts creating reality, and you don't want to stay stuck in any kind of sense of restriction or limitation. You know, especially that Mercury connecting with Saturn at the beginning of the week can kind of have that effect as well. Let's take a look at the second card as we move throughout the week. Okay, we have the Eight of Gabriel. I love this card because this is the Eight of Fire, the Eight of Wands in the traditional tarot. And this says, a great deal of activity, sudden and immediate results, important communication. Okay, so we still have this communication theme going on. And just like I said, there's going to be a lot of activity. Whenever we see the Eight of Fire, the Eight of Gabriel, there's a lot of things happening at once. Again, it's not a negative thing. It's just busy, busy energy. So it's almost like juggling commitments and, you know, juggling career life, home life, financial, you know, again, the holidays. I mean, there's a lot of things going on here, but there can be a lot of positive things with the Eight of Fire as well. Just like it says, sudden and immediate results. So if you put something out there to the universe, again, that Sagittarius energy is quick and to the point, and it's very prophetic. Sagittarius is very prophetic. And remember, we have Venus going into Sagittarius on the 1st until the 24th. We have Mercury that's been in Sagittarius, retrograding in Sagittarius. It's like you put something out to the universe, a thought, and then follow it up with an action, and you can get some immediate comeback, some immediate results coming from that. So I feel like that's part of this message as well. The third card here, okay, the Five of Ariel. So that's interesting because we had a sword suit, which is the mental realm. We had the Gabriel suit, which is fire. That's the spiritual realm. Now we have the Ariel suit, which is the earth realm. So this is about things of a tangible nature. So we kind of have a mixed bag of energies this week. The Five of Ariel says, you needn't go through your current challenges alone. Help is nearby. Negative thoughts create self-fulfilling prophecies. Well, that's what we just said. We don't want to stay in any kind of, you know, negative thought or deceptive thought or challenging, fearful, or anxious thought, because that can create our reality. And I feel like it's just a matter because things are getting so busy. There's, you know, so much going on right now in this week and in this time period, not just this week, that, again, sometimes our thoughts can run away with us. Especially when Mercury goes retrograde, things might not go as smoothly as we would like. For instance, with our career path, our life path, we might run into snags. We might run into miscommunication. And some people may misinterpret that they aren't on the right path, or this isn't the right thing for them, or they didn't make the right decision. And that's not necessarily so when there's a Mercury retrograde that we're going through. Sometimes it just means something needs to be reworked. Something needs to be reorganized. We need to go back and redo a couple of steps or whatever it might be. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're heading in the right or the wrong direction. So just like this says, you know, watch your thoughts. And also remember, like it says here, you don't have to go through this by yourself. Ask for help. Ask for assistance from other people. This also has a feeling of a little bit of chaos going on in the outer realm. You know, again, this is an earthly earth card. So it means tangible circumstances, you know, with meetings with people and finances and career and things like that. So ask for help and stay positive. Now, I did pull a fourth card because I felt like with Mercury going retrograde and the full moon in a square aspect to Neptune on the same day at the end of the week, I felt like I wanted to pull a full moon card, or a card to kind of wrap up all the energies. Okay, we have the High Priestess, which is really good actually. And the High Priestess is Archangel Haniel, and it says powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information. Be at peace. Now, the High Priestess is often shown as holding a book. Now, she's not in this particular deck, but in traditional tarot, she's holding a book, which is normally, you know, like a book of information, a book of wisdom, or you could even say, some might say the Akashic Records. So this is about, again, going deep and having psychic insights and really tuning into your higher soul self, your inner guide, and your inner perceptions of what feels right. Archangel Haniel is the healing angel. She deals with healing abilities, our psychic abilities, and also healing subconscious. You know, and think about a high priestess. A high priestess has magical energies. She is able to affect, you know, certain energies in a positive way to like create, visualize, and manifest and create. So this is a positive sign for the full moon. In other words, use the full moon energy instead of a time of confusion as a time of creation. All right, so let's go ahead before we run out of time here as I'm watching the clock. We're going to pull your messages for your special stones of choice. So the first stone was sardonyx. So we're gonna take a deep breath with me. We're gonna call in all the archangels and ask for the message for sardonyx, the sardonyx people. And you know, I just really, my eyes keep going to this card here, so I'm gonna pull this card for sardonyx. Divine order with Archangel Raguel. Beautiful. It says, everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion and see underlying order. That's perfect. Because Neptune stationing last week can heighten the idea of illusion and confusion. And the full moon, in a challenging aspect to Neptune at the end of this week, can highlight that confusion and illusion. So this is a great message that says, again, everything is as it's supposed to be. So see through that illusion. Don't allow the confusion to upset you or imbalance you. You can see that this angel, Archangel Raguel, is holding the scales of divine justice. Okay, and those scales of justice are going to be rebalanced, are going to come into balance for you. Everything, again, is unfolding in perfect divine timing and exactly as it should be. All right. And then for those that chose the chrysocolla people, all right, this one, of course, obviously is starting to stick up. Chrysocolla, counselor with Archangel Azrael. You are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. Now, this could mean, just as it says, that you are giving other people advice or guidance. Maybe you're getting into life coaching. I feel some of you are, you know, starting to allow some of your spiritual gifts to unfold, and that might be part of it. This could also be seeking out a spiritual teacher, seeking out some sort of guidance or counseling in some way. Now, Archangel Azrael is also the archangel that helps with souls that are transitioning. And because we have Chiron slowing down to go to direct motion next week, and still, like I said, within orb with Saturn for just a bit longer, there has been some souls that have been deciding to transition at this time. So call upon Archangel Azrael if you're one of those people that has a family member or a friend or someone that maybe in their transition state or have just recently transitioned, because Archangel Azrael can help you by providing that kind of grief counseling or assistance or support. You can also call upon Archangel Azrael to assist others in that manner as well. Okay, let me see if there's anything else here. All right. I don't see or feel anything else with that. And then for the people that chose the Pinolith, asking for the message for Pinolith people. Okay, I feel like this one I'm being drawn to. Pinolith, you are safe with Archangel Michael. And it says, I am protecting you against lower energies and guiding you, your loved ones, and your home. So I feel like with this one, there's something transitioning happening. I feel like some of you are going through some transition phases. Maybe the transition phases are within your own psyche, within yourself, with your belief systems, maybe with your healing journey on some level. But some of it may be in the external level. Maybe you're moving into a new career or a new position within your career, or maybe your finances have been redirected in some way. Maybe you're looking for a new home, or, you know, the idea of moving. There's a whole lot of things that this can be about, but whatever it is, whatever circumstances you're going through, know that Archangel Michael here, with his sword of light and his shield of protection, is assisting you and guiding you along the way. You know, he looks very much in this particular picture in a state of peace and balance, and so I feel like he's really providing you with that energy of peace and balance. I also feel like with this that there's something about a possible communication that you need to have with somebody and that you might be a little anxious about. He's got a sword here that's blue, and that blue, excuse me, the shield. The shield of blue is standing out to me, which makes me think of the throat chakra and communicating something. So I feel like, you know, pay attention to whatever that might be and know that Archangel Michael is protecting you through that communication. Okay, I feel like I have to go back just for a moment to Archangel Raguel. I kept getting drawn back to also state with the Divine Order card for the Sardonyx people that if there is any like miscommunications or arguments or conflicts with you and other people, call on Archangel Raguel, because he's going to help you to bring in this divine balance or divine order into that situation. All right, I hope all of you have enjoyed this weekly reading. Thank you so much for your comment, your support, liking, subscribing to my channel, watching my Facebook posts, checking out my website, connecting with me through my services there. I want to say that I love all of you, and I'm very grateful and thankful for all of you. I send you all much love and light and many, many angel blessings.